Hey guys, how you doing? I'm a little bit late. I do apologise. I wake up every morning now thinking, I've got so much more chance to get things done now. I haven't left the house. I don't know where the time goes. I've been so busy today. Hey Matt, hey Lord of Cheshire, hey Liv, hey Bruce, how you doing? Hey Paul, my late competition entry. Sorry I'm late. What have you all been doing today? How has the end of your first week of isolation been? Hey Chantel. I've been recording some podcasts today actually. It's the first time I've ever done them not live, as in not sat with somebody, but we recorded them over Zoom. Hey Viv, hey Casey. We recorded them over Zoom. They weren't perfect, the audio wasn't perfect, but I'd rather get something done and record some content at the moment rather than miss out. So as long as we're moving forward, then that's half the battle. I'll tell you I won't tell you about everything we did with them because you can wait to watch them on YouTube or listen to the audio. But I recorded with a lady called Gemma Sampson. She's a nutrition expert. I tried to keep all these a bit shorter than normal as well. I just kind of 10 or 15 minutes, some quick fire questions about their business, but then specifically how we can relate it to the coronavirus situation, how we can potentially use it to benefit our situations right now. So Gemma's a nutritionist. We talked about the kind of things we should be eating and drinking whilst on lockdown to try and keep our immune systems up. We talked about how to stop the temptation from going to the fridge. I know that one's been a problem for me. Every time you guys see me, I've got my Ritz crackers and I've got my glass of wine. The temptation's been impossible. We also talked about how she coaches comfort eaters. Then after that, I recorded with a lady called Sian Gabidon. Some of you Apprentice fans might recognise that name. Sian won The Apprentice in 2018. She has got a clothing label called Sian Marie. Alan Sugar invested 250,000 in her, and he obviously partners with her business and mentors her now. We talked about the highlights of The Apprentice. We talked about the lessons she learnt on there, and obviously also the kind of problems she's struggling with now as a clothing business in the current situation. We also talked about how to get influencers to wear your product or to promote your product, recommend your product for you. So I know a lot of you guys who've got a product or a business out there will find that very interesting when it comes out. My favourite one of the four today, although if the other three are listening, I will be saying that you're all my equal favourites, but what I found quite interesting was Julie Waddell. Julie's an ex-radio presenter, became an entrepreneur and started to cook hummus in her kitchen. And literally turned an interest in hummus to a passion in hummus, and she now has a brand called Moorish Hummus. She got listed in Waitrose and many other supermarkets now. Have any of you guys tried it or had it before? That's now a 10-figure business. Can you believe that? Literally 8 years ago she was cooking hummus in a kitchen, and now she's got a 10-figure business with her product represented in all the major national food retailers. So it really does show that anyone can do it. And also I'm going to get Julie on a live with me at some point next week as well. Thanks for joining, guys. We just have a little rundown of my day, and then I'm going to talk to you about some top tips I've got for how to take your bricks and mortar businesses online, or how to help your businesses try and survive and potentially thrive during this time. We've got a couple of specific questions that I've been asked to talk about today. Now, Andrew Friday's on there, wanted to talk about selling gift vouchers. So we're going to talk about that too, and then we're going to announce today's competition winner. Anyone who doesn't know, every day during the lockdown I'm doing a £100 giveaway. And today, I think we had the most entries I've ever had. I've actually had so many entries today. and I've also succumbed to not wanting the pressure of having to pick a winner. Hey Katie, how are you doing? I don't want to have to pick a winner anymore, because as we're getting more entries each day, I feel that I'm going to be getting into trouble for fixing or telling or picking what someone sees as a wrong person. So I actually downloaded a competition app which links into your Instagram, extracts all the people who've entered the competition, and then spins it like a wheel of fortune. So we have now got a completely random competition generator, which is quite fun, quite cool. Hey Chantel, you missed it as you're in hospital. Listen, don't worry, there's going to be another one tomorrow, another one every day during lockdown. So yeah, but what I want to talk about first is Andrew Friday, who's on the line. He has some fish and chip shops called Fridays. Andrew and I have started to work together, and I'm excited to say I've recently invested in his business. And Andrew asked me a question, which was if I thought retailers, food retailers, shops in general, should be looking at selling gift cards right now. Obviously it's generating cash flow, and it is it's guaranteeing you future sales, and it's keeping you in front of your customer's eye and mind. They're the positives. The negatives is it was more a question of, are you cannibalizing future sales, i.e. would these people be coming to buy from you anyway, and you're just selling yourself short early, potentially selling at a discount, and what my views on it were. And I think right now, as whether you're a business owner or an individual, now more than ever, every one of you should understand the expression "cash is king." And yes, I get the fact that you could probably be short selling future sales. Yes, people would probably come and spend that money with you anyway. But right now, all that matters is getting cash in the till. Making sure that we have as much money as possible to fight through lockdown, and pay the suppliers that we need to pay the staff that we aren't furloughing, and just keeping the wheels moving. So yes, I think you might be giving away future sales, but in the grand scheme of things, it's much more important to get some cash flowing into the business. As any business owner will know, or certainly any failed business owner will know, it is not lack of profit that kills you, but lack of cash. Right now it's irrelevant what your winter sales are going to be if you haven't got any money in the till to pay your bills right now. And again, depending on what kind of business you've got, holding stock right now, there's not many businesses out there that are going to be holding stock which isn't depreciating as time goes on. Obviously, Andrew's fish and chip shops, the food's going to be frozen, so it's still going to be alive. It's still going to be sellable when we get to reopen again. But I still think you should be getting cash in the till. If you're a clothing retailer, or any kind of seasonally led retailer, your stock is diminishing on a daily basis. So it's much more important now to turn it into cash. I'm involved in some luxury fashion businesses, and by the time we come out of this lockdown, the stock that we have got is going to effectively be out of date for the season. So again, it's much more important now to stick it on sale, turn it into cash, and make sure we've got a fighting chance of getting through this. So Andrew, I hope that makes sense to you. Chanel Ann is saying that you have a very small clothes business and you've just started up. Any good advice? Well, listen, I'm actually going to talk about a few different businesses and how I think you can take them online, both now during lockdown, but also these strategies should be able to be applied going forward for you. And I think for me it's a three-part thing. One, getting through lockdown, but two, potentially having another string to your business model, and three, maybe even changing your business model going forward. And as I've said a few times over the last few days on these lives and obviously in my day-to-day business, I think a lot of businesses are going to come out of this lockdown and come out of this crisis and want to materially revisit their business model, and potentially do away with shops, do away with offices, do away with having physical staff in their office, and maybe look at a distributed workforce business model, etc. So most days I've been saying to people, look, stay positive, you can take your business online. But I've been having people asking me specific questions of, what can I do for my business? So I made a few notes for you guys before I came on today for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for six different kinds of businesses, and what specific ideas you could have for either benefiting online now or certainly being able to keep yourself going during these tough times. And I only had time to think of 6 before we came on, but I'm sure you can take most of these and apply them to pretty much any bricks and mortar industry. Obviously a big one at the minute is gyms. Whether you're a gym owner, whether you're a personal trainer. Obviously, you're not able to see clients. The gyms are closed. I know, obviously, when gyms started closing, a lot of personal trainers were seeing the clients in the park. But even that's not possible now. So what can they do? And now is the perfect time for you to be trying online fitness classes. Everybody who normally sees a personal trainer, and probably many people who've never either joined a gym or thought about exercise before, are sat at home and they need some exercise. And I guarantee you, if you aren't finding a way to get yourself in front of them, they're going to be taking their exercise classes on YouTube. They're going to need to exercise one way or the other. So now is your time to get you in front of their faces. Hey Danny, thanks for jumping on. So yeah, if you're a fitness trainer, I think you should be looking at looking after your existing client base on a one-to-one basis, which you could be doing through Zoom, doing through Skype. If you normally do fitness classes, again, you can still do those on a mass market basis. Again, apps like Zoom, allow you to go out to I think at least 100 people at once, if not more. So if you normally run an existing fitness class, now's the perfect time to take it online. If you haven't done it before, now's the time to start trying to take these things online. Everybody has got the chance to try and take advantage of taking their business model, to the masses when people are sat at home twiddling their thumbs. I've heard a lot of people doing the Joe Wicks workout. I actually heard the other day that Carol Vorderman was giving, I don't know if it's a regular thing or just a one-off, giving maths lessons online. Everybody can be taking their business model online. And again, as a trainer, you could be doing it on a paid basis. You could be doing it on a free basis if you're just trying to develop goodwill and some branding, so that people know who you are when you come back in after lockdown, whenever that may be. And I've also seen people working on a donation basis as well. Giving the classes for free, giving the content for free, but just asking for donations. Yeah, Jordan, you're staying off the red. I wish I could stay off the red. I've had at least a bottle a day, as you guys know. So that's some specific ways. That is some specific ways. If you're a gym owner or a personal trainer, you could take your business online. If you're a teacher or a coach, in pretty much any field, a tutor, you can be applying pretty much all of those same principles. Taking your content online on a one-to-one basis or on a group basis. Again, there's probably no better time than now, when all these kids are at home, being homeschooled. Yes, I'm sure all of the schools are trying to deliver the lessons that they would normally deliver as best as possible. But for sure, this is the perfect opportunity where parents will be taking a lot more interest in their kids' education. Parents are getting involved in homeschooling themselves, and I'm sure there's plenty of parents out there who are prepared to try other people's educational content. And there's probably kids who want to see some of it as well. So yeah, if you're a teacher or a coach, look at training your existing client base online, and look at putting on free courses. Because, like I say, with the gym instructors, if you're not going to give them content yourself, they're going to go and find it from somebody else on YouTube, on Facebook Live, whatever that may be. Restaurants, obviously restaurants, slightly trickier, but still just as possible. Chanel, you've sent me a DM. No problem, Chanel. I will take a look at that when I've finished doing this tonight. Restaurants, as we just spoke about with Andrew, is a perfect time to be selling gift cards. You can look at a gift card almost as an interest-free loan to tide you over between now and the time that lockdown finishes and the restaurants start opening and trading again. If you sell a discount, if you're selling a gift card at a discount, then obviously you can look at it as a loan with an interest rate. But either way, it's a way of getting cash. It's a way of getting cash in now, and it's also a way. I mean, for restaurants who've already got a good following, it's a way of continuing to build loyalty, and I'm sure a lot of your customer base, will look to support you anyway. Now, as I've been talking about a lot, I've never seen so much friendliness and compassion from the nation in general. And I think, listen, whilst everybody is struggling financially, there is still some money moving around the system, and now more than ever, people are showing loyalty to the brands that they love, particularly the independent retailers and the people in their local area. So doing some kind of gift cards for the future is a fantastic idea. You could. I've never used these, but I wanted to check to give you guys something specific, and I came across a system called Roller and a system called Gift Fly, and both of those are something that will enable you to sell gift cards online. Hey Penny, how you doing? I've not forgotten you. We were DMing earlier, so don't worry, I'll get that sorted for you tonight. As a restaurant, you should also certainly be considering delivery. Obviously, it's getting tougher and tougher, but you can do a contactless delivery. And what about thinking of other ways to be creative? You may be a restaurant. Well, one thing I always say to restaurants and people in hospitality is that the magic word for success in hospitality is yes. You should be able to say yes within reason to any customer's request. I mean, I always, my mates laugh at me for being spoiled, if you like, but I always get grumpy if I go into a restaurant and, for example, they've got boiled potatoes on the menu and they won't serve me sauté potatoes, or if they do fried eggs and I want scrambled eggs, but they won't do me scrambled eggs. That really pisses me off, because I think any restaurant should be able to, within reason, say yes to a customer's request. But now's a perfect time for restaurants to be thinking outside the box. Hey Callum, thanks for joining. I thought you'd be sick of the sight of me. But now's a perfect time. Don't just sell the things off your menu, but we've got all these people who are struggling to get what they want in the shops, or not wanting to go out to the shops. Why not? Why not just sell your ingredients? You don't have to sell a full meal. You could be doing almost like the equivalent of a grocery shop for people. What about doing frozen meals? Again, even the people going out are wanting to go out a more and more limited amount of time. So why not prepare your meals in a frozen friendly format, so people can bulk purchase them and stick them away for the future? What about looking at fun things like meal prep even? Again, I mean, meal prep or having ingredients delivered to your house is not a new concept. But again, now's the time for the independent retailer and the forward-thinking business to be thinking outside the box. So what about, rather than supplying the finished meal that you'd normally supply the ingredients for it, so parents can make it with their kids. There's all kinds of different ways that you can think outside the box to keep some money coming in and to build loyalty for the future. Because again, I'll say it every night when I'm on this, we are going to come out of this. It's just a matter of when and a matter of what we look like when we do. But the people that are going to come out of it better, the businesses that are going to come out of it better, are the ones that are not looking at this lockdown as time on their hands to fill, but as time that they can put effort into fixing problems, future planning, and being successful. I wrote down here Uber driver. That's because I was out for a walk earlier and I saw a taxi with an old lady, and the taxi was driving with a mask on, and there was an old lady in the back. And I thought, if you were I'm sure as a taxi driver, as an Uber driver, you are not going, you're not going to be having much business right now. And listen, I don't know about the legalities of this, so I'm not here to advise you on anything. But again, I think right now in today's circumstances, it's more important to, let's say, ask for forgiveness and ask for permission, and I'd be doing whatever I could be to make money. So I think if you're an Uber driver or a taxi driver, Could you potentially turn yourself into a delivery service for people? You don't have to have a passenger in the back of the car. Could you not be driving around people's groceries? Could you not be transporting packages from property to property? And you know what, even if you're not an official licensed taxi, again, I'm not advising you about the legalities of this, but even if you're not an official licensed taxi, if you're sat at home and you have a mode of transport, whether that's a car, a bicycle, a skateboard or anything else, could you not be monetising your time going out there and helping people get deliveries, transport packages, transport whatever it may be? There must be ways for you to monetise yourself. Penny says the chip shop near me are selling their potatoes. Yeah, exactly, Penny. Good idea for them. I know Andrew. I don't know if Andrew's still on here, but Andrew from Fridays. I know we were doing certain staple items, certain. Yes, Chanel. I'm going to announce the winner at the end of this. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought now. Andrew was selling staple groceries, milk, bread, the things that you need in your house. So, now is the time to really look at your business model differently. And like I say, I think a lot of the things that people do now during the lockdown will fundamentally change their business model in the long term. These won't just be shortcut, like quick fixes that people use for the next couple of months. These will be fundamental changes to people's business model. Friday's Essentials. I don't know. Are you still selling those? Are you still selling those by delivery? Hair salons, nail salons, etc. What's this? Jordan says, "Oh, it's awful. All this breaks my heart for all you guys who are self-employed." Yeah, I mean, obviously, self-employed people certainly got it tough. But I think some of the strategies that I'm talking about for you guys, whether you're self-employed or whether you're a business owner, that combined with the compassion I keep mentioning that has been shown, and the willingness of people to support local businesses and to support each other, will make sure that that the hard-working people, the creative people, get out of this as unscathed as possible. Matt Parks says, my local greengrocers are now doing home deliveries. Exactly. They posted today that they've been doing 150 a day. I can believe it. So many people are quite rightly taking self-isolation so seriously. I personally still go outside for a walk or for a run and get a bit of air. I've been to the shops and things myself, but so many people aren't going to do that delivery is a fantastic opportunity. But if you're a hair salon, if you're a nail salon, if you've got a physical product that you sell, then you can be selling it online. If maybe you do sell it online already. If you don't sell it online, you should be doing it. Again, this shouldn't just be during the lockdown. This is something you should be doing forever. But what about starting to create some videos, starting to create some content? Just because people can't come and visit you, they're still going to want some kind of self-care. People aren't going to be growing. I don't know what we're going to do about our hair. But certainly as far as nails and makeup and that kind of thing's concerned, people are not going to want their nails to grow or look shitty just because they're at home. So can you do some Facebook Lives? Could you do some Zoom courses? Could you be teaching people how to take care of themselves whilst they're unable to visit a stylist? I could probably do with learning how to use the clippers to sort my mess out. But is there a way to impart your skill over the Wi-Fi? And what about hosting live events? You could have a paint your nail party. You could have a makeup party. Again, some of these might be monetizable opportunities, but even if they're not monetizable, what they are is a chance, as I keep saying time and time again, to keep you in front of your customer's face, or to put you in front of new customers' faces for when we come out of this other side. And the final one I thought was a photographer. I got a friend of mine who's a photographer. She posted earlier that the only photos she was taking was selfies, and it made me think what kind of things could a photographer do specifically to try and earn some income or assist their business model during lockdown. Hey Danny, so what could you do as a photographer? You could be selling your prints online. Now, it depends what kind of a photographer you are, obviously. I mean, if you're a photographer that takes pictures of abstract things to sell that you may normally sell in a gallery, then yes, you could be selling them online. I mean, this specific friend of mine, I mean, she's a wedding photographer, photographs models, etc. But now could be the time to start looking back through your archives, looking back through your database, and finding images of some of your old clients, maybe finding some images that they haven't already bought, or putting together some collages or some ideas that you could then try and sell them. Yeah, you've definitely got to be keeping your social media going, not just keeping it going, but you've got to be growing it. You've got to be growing it. Now is the perfect time to be growing it. But yes, if you're a photographer, go back and find your old clients, find the old photos that you've probably got in your Dropbox archives, and put some offers together, put some packages together, make something fancy. Could you look at selling your photos to a stock photo website? Again, there's plenty of websites or agencies out there that represent people's photos to sell. Like if I needed a photo for one of my brochures of two people shaking hands, for example, there's somewhere I can go to buy a royalty-free picture like that. I don't know what they cost me 10 quid, 20 quid, whatever, but somebody has created that photo. So could you be taking your photos and selling them to, hey Maria, good evening, could you be taking those photos and selling them to a stock photo website? You might not be able to take any photos at the moment, but could you be offering other services like editing services? Obviously photos need to be edited before they go out. Maybe the people at home have got photos that they've had in a collection for ages that aren't up to scratch. And you could edit some of their favourite ones so that they've got some nice pics to look at and get them through lockdown. And again, as with all of the previous examples of jobs and talents I've mentioned, could you be teaching your skill? So many people would love to be a photographer. So many people are a photographer with their iPhones nowadays. Could you teach people how to be a photographer? They're going to be sat at home twiddling their thumbs. I'm sure they'd love the chance to be able to understand how to take better photos of the kids, or how to take pictures in their garden, etc. So look, that was 6 different businesses. What's Casey says? Sound advice. Thanks, Casey. Thank you very much. Well, look, that's 6 different businesses, and many different ideas for each of those businesses. And a lot of the ideas are all variations from business to business, but I'm sure you can take any business and apply those ideas in some way, shape or form to find a way to monetize or at least market during lockdown. Hey Alex, how you doing? We're just talking about ways to keep your business going during lockdown. Alex is a tennis coach. Is that what you call it? She runs a tennis program for a ladies tennis in university in America. Obviously that's a slightly tougher one to keep going during lockdown, but again, as we've been talking about every day on here, you can certainly be keeping FaceTime and keeping morale and motivation with your team, and obviously now is the perfect time to be doing other things for your business, maybe scouting new players, coming up with new programs, etc. So all of these ideas are all a variation on a theme, but I've definitely given you all enough things, whatever your business is. So let us talk about competition winners. I'm going to have to go back to my notes here. So today's competition was to go on the post on my main feed and tag in it somebody that you'd like to spend time during lockdown with, and tell me what you've been up to during lockdown. And the winners picked at random. So there were no right or wrong answers, but anyone who's been watching much of my content over the last few days knows that the right answer is something productive. Hey Izzy, how you doing? Thanks for popping by. What have you been doing without tattoo? I bet you're missing those dumplings. So listen, I think I've got about 22, 23 entries today. So I haven't got time to read through them all. But Nathan Precious, I mean, they actually sent me a list of 20 things that they've got to do during lockdown, from waking up early, getting dressed and having a bath. You know what? It sounds silly, but I think that's a super important thing as well. Whether you're working from home or whether you don't know what you're going to be doing with your time just yet, I think getting up, getting showered, shaved, dressed and feeling good about yourself is super important, because otherwise it's so easy to slip into lounging around the house in your pyjamas all the time, and ultimately you're going to feel lethargic. You're not going to be working anywhere near as effectively as possible, and you're certainly not going to be in a good mood for doing anything productive. I'm going to talk about reading books, eating healthy, going high on protein, low on carbs, planning their life. Planning, if you've got nothing else to do, now is the perfect time to be planning if you can't think of anything else. Casey Alexander, for the past 2 weeks, she's been stuck inside, so she's redecorated a bathroom. I tell you what, when lockdown's over, I could do with you redecorating my bathroom. Jordan's got an empty washing machine and an ironing basket. I tell you what, I wish I had an empty washing machine and an ironing basket. Casey's saying tomorrow is messy playtime with a 7-month-old boy. She was in lockdown with a mother she wishes she was in lockdown with a mother who's vulnerable. What else is going on here? Who else have we got? Emma Louise Manning. Personally, she's using this tricky time as an opportunity to reset her mind and focus, forcing her to concentrate on herself, which she always makes excuses for, and she's determined to maintain a positive outlook despite all the negative energy around at the moment. Yeah, so important to be keeping positive now. We're at the very, very early stages of this lockdown. Depending who you speak to, you're going to get all kinds of differing opinions of whether it's going to last for 3 weeks, whether it's going to last for 3 months. But however you skin it, we're 3 or 4 days into it. I personally believe it's going to get more stringent before it gets better. So you've definitely got to be finding ways to stay smiling and positive. Who else have we got? Johnny, that's Chris. Chris has jet washed the garden whilst listening to Stoicism on an audiobook. Who said men can't multitask? Good man. Paul Devine was a late entry. He's saying this unfortunate and unprecedented scenario with coronavirus should be viewed as an opportunity. Staying at home and potential self-isolation isn't downtime, it's quite the opposite. It's an opportunity, a time for bettering yourself and a time for working on your business, strategic thinking, tactical actions, etc. Exactly, Paul. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I talk about every day. That now is not the time for Netflix. What I find so funny is the people who claim to be wanting to better themselves, who claim to be wanting to be self-motivated or claiming to be self-motivated. Can I see yours? I've just pulled a few off on here, but these were ones I'd already prepared to show just before we started. Now is the time that all these people who are saying, I've not got time to do this, I've not got time to do that, they're now all saying, I'm so bored, what can I watch on Netflix? And when we come out of this, for sure you're going to be going, I just wish I had time to read a book. Well, now is that time. So thanks, Paul. And that was it. So yeah, that was 3 or 4 different ones. So I actually did, because I do this live from my telephone, I can't do I can't do the Wheel of Fortune thing whilst you're on. So I had to run it before we started. So just so you know, I'm not telling porkies. This was the app where it pulls all the names in, and I put them in, and it spins them round. I'm going to post all this on my story afterwards. It spins them all around. Obviously, this loses its excitement, doesn't it? It's not really like watching the Wheel of Fortune on TV. If anyone knows of any apps where I can do this live with you guys watching, please tell me, and I'll download it, buy it, whatever I need to do so that I'm able to do this. But anyway, I put all the information in. Well, it pulled it out of Instagram. It spins it round, and today's winner, I haven't seen their. I actually knew who it was before we started, but I haven't seen their name pop up. Is you can't read that properly. But today's winner is Nader. It's Naderkhatb, Naderkhatb, whoever that may be. So well done. You've won £100 for my Corona cash giveaway. So I hope you can spend that. Well, I was going to say, I don't know what you're going to spend it on over the weekend, but I guess we're all spending our money now on the essentials, and the essentials, the kids, and the necessary food. But listen, guys, thank you very much for dropping by. I'll do another competition again tomorrow and every other day. and I super enjoy answering your questions. So some of them actually make me think and keep my mind active. So please send me some more, and good luck with your businesses. Good luck with starting a business, and like I say, whatever business you've got, go back and listen to, because I'm going to keep this live for 24 hours, so go back and listen to some of those things I was saying about how you can find a way to monetize a skill you've got, or take a bricks and mortar business and put it online. I hope you found that useful. Thanks a lot. I'm going to go back to finishing my wine, eating my Ritz crackers and cooking my dinner, and I will look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. Night, guys.